We got Les Pauls in the house, and today we're going to take you from studio all the way up to custom shop, tell you a little bit about each one and which one you might choose, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
And we are here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for a custom swag and check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts. So we just got a huge influx of Gibsons back into the store. We're excited to be able to do this video because sometimes we don't always have these, and I think this is going to be very instructive.
Yeah, we got 4 Les Pauls, 4 price ranges, and kind of 4 interpretations of pickups and appointments that kind of go from modern to vintage, back to modern, back to vintage. But it's not every Les Paul, because there's a ton of Les Pauls.
There's a slew of Les Pauls. There is a various, would you say that there's a plethora?
There's a plethora, and even within these sort of series, there's multiple
offshoots.
Versions. But the first one, which is going to be our affordable, is the Studio, which I got. I had a Studio. It was Fireburst. I sold it. I liked that guitar. But I do think they've made the Studios better since then.
Yeah.
And they've made them, like, part of the thing that I didn't love about the Studio that I had, and I was a young fool at the time. I think I was like 14.
A fool of a took?
Yeah. It didn't really have the aesthetic that I wanted, which was the classic Les Paul aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I liked the burst, but it didn't have a pick guard. It was, much more stripped down looking than this one is. I like the wine red. This has been a good one for us just because it's kind of your entry point, right?
Yeah.
But it is sort of a mix of vintage and modern. It's weight relieved mahogany, which is nice because, as we'll see when we get to
this one's not.
That's a heavy son of a gun. But
it's where the tone is.
Burstbuckers in there?
Yes.
3-way switch, but you do
have...
they're
Burstbucker Pros.
Burstbucker Pro. Good.
Yes.
I prefer the Pro Plus. But you do have some switching options, which I did not have. You can split these coils. There's nothing over here.
Nope.
But that'll give you some extra sound. So you got the 3-way switch. As you'll see in the demo, I do split them so you can kind of hear the difference. But otherwise, it's pretty Les Paul-y.
The recipe's there. It's leaving off a few things. And I think what's important to understand of how they get this to the price that they do. Does this one comes with a bag or a case?
Bag.
So you get a bag instead of a case. You don't have a bound body. You do have a bound neck. And that really, you'd be surprised, but I've talked about this. A lot of what deals with the price of guitar is how long it takes to make the guitar. To bind the body of a guitar in the Gibson factory literally takes days. Yeah. If you've watched any of their videos, the binding gets put on, it's bound in rope, it's let to set, and then it has to be cleaned up and scraped and all of these things for something that's effectively mostly ornamentation. You can argue that it protects the side from you bumping it and cracking and all that stuff. I think that's more important for acoustic guitars, but that's really what it is. And so by taking those days of production time out, they can produce a guitar that much quicker and get it to you. It still is mahogany. It's still maple, although it's not figured. It still has USA-made components, pickups in there. It's still a nitro finish body. Yeah. And these are less than a Fender Pro 2 now?
These are less than a Pro 2.
Which is a really good value. In fact, that Studio costs, unless I'm mistaken, the same as a Fender American Pro Classic now.
Yes.
So I would argue with the set neck and the controls and everything, that's a lot of guitar for the money.
It is.
And I have my own callback to a Studio. It wasn't mine, but my friend Pete's when we were in high school. Mm-hmm. He was the best guitar player among us. And he had a really nice kind of clown burst with gold hardware.
Yeah.
That's cool. That was a really nice.
Yeah, Studio. I think if we had one in the store, we would show it to you. But the Studio Session is also a awesome guitar that came out this year, I think. And we've had some, and I don't think we've even done one on the channel because they've
sold too quickly. Yeah.
But if you do like this guitar and you want to get a little bit closer to the look of that one, the Sessions have the flame top. They got a little more ornamentation. they're just really nice guitars.
So you gotta know the flame makes like the sound that much better.
It makes the tone really hot. So you're going to hear the pickups on these. We are going to be doing demos after every single one, but they're time stamped and I'm playing the same thing. So get ready to be really tired of a bluesy E jam. Because
I never get tired of bluesy.
there's a lot of pickups to go through. But here's some sounds on the studio.
All right, there you go. Blues and E for the first time. There will be more to come.
Get ready.
By the way, were you in the store when that guy brought in that vintage ES335 that was his grandfather's? I don't think you were here yet.
So.
Very cool thing that he was asking me about because he said, might get some work done. I said, don't touch the finish. And he said, there's this thing on the back of the neck right about here that kind of bothers him, and he just kind of gets hung up on it, and he wasn't sure what to do. And I grabbed the guitar in my hands, and I realized it was from a wedding ring.
Yeah.
And I said, your grandfather played a lot of blues in A, and he laughed. He goes, yeah. How'd you know that? I said, that's where his wedding ring was. And it was he got it a little choked up. I got a little choked up. It was so cool for it to harken back on, I know exactly what this was and what this guy was doing on this guitar. And it's just meaningful. Guitars are awesome. Anyways.
Get ready for some blues and E.
Yeah. So this is the standard, the 60 standard to be specific. So there's a 50 standard, there's a 60 standard. We'll keep it at that. You can go into 70s. But, the difference between a 50s and a 60s comes down to a few things. The knobs, the tuners, the neck profile, and the pickups. Now, the pickups are Burstbucker 60s, or they're Burstbucker 50s, depending upon the model that you go with. In either case, you're going to have a selection of particular finishes that harken back to that era. This is Iced Tea, which is, I think, my favorite finish in the 60s era.
I love the iced tea. That's the best looking one to me.
I love it.
It looks the most, when I picture a Les Paul in my head, that's what
it's this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Heritage Cherry that's just kind of a little lighter. And there's a cool book that I read about early production of from Gibson and why there's a bunch of reasons as to why the finishes changed. Some of it was just UV damage to the finish, bleaching them out. But there's also just dirty guns, full of the previous paint from an ES model that was darker, getting, the honey color or the red in there, and then it'd come out browner or it'd be lighter. And I just love that history. Either way, yeah, to me, this is kind of classic Les Paul. You have the top hats with the silver, since it's the 60s. They wouldn't have that on the 50s model. You've got the little guys that I've got on my old ES335. And you cannot pull any of these. They are just volume and tone,
Yeah.
as God intended.
Exactly right. That is not a weight relieved guitar.
No,
And you can tell.
it is not weight relieved. It is mahogany. For the back, the neck, it's a really nice piece. There's the seam right there. So it looks like it's just a two-piece body with a really nice maple cap. Most of that weight, by the way, is the maple.
Yeah.
Because that is a carved piece of maple. If you ever look at the side, you can see exactly how deep that maple goes. Grover tuners on this. Really nice, wonderful playability. And, yeah, all of the sound that you could possibly need.
So price-wise, I think those are at $27.99.
You're right at $2,700, yeah.
So you got over $1,000 between the studio and this one. Is binding worth it to you?
Oh, that's a good question. I will tell you, there's a number of things going on with this guitar. One, it's got a figure top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's going to cost you. I like the hardware on this one. And I like the bound look.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I like the selection of tone woods.
I will tell you that the Les Paul is probably the guitar that, across all brands and everything in the electric guitar world, you can visually really tell, like, the difference between series.
From model to model.
Because a Strat looks like a Strat. Black Strat and a black Strat, that's a Squire Classic vibe. Versus if you look at the logo on the headstock, you'll know, but there's not much room to hide, but that guitar looks only like that guitar.
Well, and I think the looks portion, we shop with our eyes, if we're all just fair. And, there's going to be those of you that say, no, it's not worth the extra $1,000. The reason the studio is named the studio is because it's not for the stage. I mean, that's what's in the name.
It's harsh.
I mean,
it's harsh.
Can you play it on stage? Absolutely. But the idea in the name is, this is a stripped down version to go play, like, just play the guitar.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a very focused thing. I like the Burstbucker 60s on these, and I like the look of it. Many who watch this channel know what I have already, so I would probably go with this one between the two we've looked at so far.
Well, let's take a listen, and then we'll get to the next few.
All right, this one's on the Elemental chart as a color because this one is in cobalt. But what are you holding, Cooper?
I think this is called the Gibson Modern.
That's a different guitar.
JK. This is the Les Paul Modern figured. So obviously it looks pretty modern, and modern's in the name. This is on the other side of the bifurcated collection world. We had original collection with the standard. Now this is the modern collection.
By the way, the studio is modern collection too.
Yeah. I mean, that's modern. This guitar has some heavy differences. The recipe's the same: mahogany body, maple cap, mahogany neck, but instead of like on the studio just having splits, now you got phase and blow by, so you can just rock out.
There you go.
You
That's
can
what
rock
everyone
out
needs.
anywhere. A lot more sounds, whether you use them or not, is up to you. But it gets confusing from a demo perspective going through, all right, I got 3, now let's hear them all split, but back and forth on the middle position, and then both middle positions in and out of phase. There's a lot that you can do. But it's fun. Also, it comes in some wild and wacky colors, which the standards do now too.
Yeah.
You can get a blueberry burst standard if you want. But if you want something real modern, you got this no pick guard, ebony fingerboard. You got kind of this contour deal over here, so you can play up the, what do you say, shweedly shweedly?
Shweedly.
Yeah, I think you can do that. These are locking tuners that have the profile of the Kluson style, but they are Grovers. And yeah, definitely thinner neck. This is a...
Compound radius too on the fretboard.
and then
It's
these
flatter as you
are
go up. Those
Pro Plus?
are Burstbucker Pro Pluses.
Pro Plus. So you get a little bit more.
Yeah. You get plus more.
So this guitar, you can get a modern figured in not blue, but they are pretty loud colors.
Yes.
And
Because they're modern.
within the moderns, you got the studio. This is only a few $100s more than the standard, I believe. But you are paying a little bit more. You get some more options, right? There's Supremes. There's, I mean, there's a lot of stuff kind of in the modern, but I think this is a good example of. This is a obviously more modern Les Paul with.
I think this is the most classic recipe in the modern iteration for the Les Paul that gives you a myriad. I think, it's playability, it's clearly a modern aesthetic, and it's a lot of different sounds that you can get. So this one is more for the musician that wants one guitar to do everything.
Yeah.
You've seen those guys that play in like the top 40 bands that are amazing guitar players,
Yeah.
and they've got like a Helix or something on the floor so they can
And a
get every
PRS.
single, and a PRS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because they want to get every sound. This is the Les Paul to cover all of those bases as well.
Yeah, and I do think at $29.99, I was talking about a different electric guitar earlier, but you mentioned this with the studio's few $100s less than an American Pro 2.
Right.
This guitar is in the range now of like the Ultralux
Vintage, yep.
and one could argue there is a lot more going on with the construction, first of all, but also the options that you got. I'm going to go out on a limb, though I didn't look it up. That's weight relieved.
It is
this
ultra weight relieved.
This is way, way lighter than the standard. So yeah, for the modern player, the modern figured, go figure, take a listen.
And now the one that Cooper would buy, and we know this because he didn't hand it to me. Do you know
Oh,
that?
yeah, I'm sorry. about that.
No, it's okay.
No, you hold
can,
it.
you can hold
You
it.
have to hold it. Yeah.
I was just like,
Oh.
this is the one he would buy.
didn't even think about
That's how we could figure this out. So, if you didn't know already, this is the custom. You can tell because it's badged on the back. This is a 1957 dark back gold top Les Paul. Yes, I like
Yeah,
this
that's
guitar.
pretty sweet. This is a representation of the type of thing that's available in the custom shop, but there's a lot of custom shop
Well,
Les Pauls.
you can go vintage, you can go modern. I would say probably most often custom instruments from Gibson are vintage.
Yeah,
But you could do, like, we've sold the Access, very well.
Yeah.
Bangle Burst and all that
Bangle
stuff.
Burst.
But yeah, this is pretty classic, and I love a good gold top. I mean, I love my Les Paul, but gosh, I really love a gold
If
top.
you're not gonna get a burst, you better be going gold. I guess you could go Black Beauty if you wanted. But
You could, or 58s that don't really have a lot of figure, but I really love a gold top.
Gold top is great. What you get in the custom shop is a lot more money.
Yes, it is a lot more money.
A lot more money, but that guitar, I love the finish on it. I love the pickup sound. Like the custom buckers are probably the best sounding humbuckers.
That's what I love. Custom buckers they're on Eco 3 magnets, they're unpotted. So there is this acoustic quality and this rich warmth that you get out of them. But you go to that bridge pickup and it's got all of that snarl.
Yeah.
It's just really round sounding and full.
Yeah.
Years and years and years and years ago, I did a comparison between a custom shop 59 and a traditional that they used to do. Because surely these should be near each other. And those custom buckers are so incredibly different. The guitar feels different when it's a custom shop too.
Yeah.
And you can get into the debate of whether or not it's worth it all day long. But I've always been impressed with the custom shop instruments, and these pickups I absolutely love.
Yeah. I think custom shop, we've done quite a few 59s like yours on this channel. We've done cheap versus expensive kind of thing. But the good thing about Gibson custom shop is, we don't talk about it as much as Taylor or Martin or Fender, but you do have a lot of flexibility in building something that you want exactly. But the thing that I like is, say, insert brand name here. They're going to do a 1965 Stratocaster, and there's all different types of finishes and colors and changing up the pickups and all that, blah, blah, blah. But with Gibson's custom shop, 57, 58, 59, 60, like, you have the choice of the finish, but the formula and the recipe of the wood that they use, the pickups they use, it's all kind of set because a lot of people just want that guitar.
Yeah.
And a real 59 is going to cost you $300
Way too much money. Well, there aren't any more. Joe Bonamassa has all of them.
Yeah, he got all of them.
But
I don't think we've ever had a 57 in here.
we've had a 57 Black Beauty. We haven't had a gold top.
The gold top's cool.
Yeah, the gold top's really good. So a few things I will say about custom shop, and this speaks to the type of customer that you are. I think if you are wanting something that just like the finish and everything feels absolutely perfect, you probably want to go with something that's more modern.
Yeah.
Like that modern Les Paul we were looking at, because the finish that's on here I prefer, but it's not going to have the super shiny sheen
Yeah.
that you have on the modern instruments, and it's done on purpose. There's a certain kind of aged quality to the hardware that's on these. And there's a lot of other little things that you don't have push pulls, in this configuration. Now, could you order a made to measure? You could, but everything's a little different, and it is going back to vintage. One little thing that a lot of people don't pick up on, and it's actually our Gil, who alerted this to me, that the knobs are not just different, but like the numbers are different. So if you look at these are different knobs. They're a little rounded.
Than on a 50s.
Than on a 50s or 60s or anything else. They are here. Hold it. You can feel that the profile is different. There's a softness to it.
And that's worth thousands.
But, it's talking about the vintage accuracy of it.
Yeah.
So even the way the numbers are on, there's a difference between how they're laminated and how there's finishing done on it versus if you even just buy knobs, off the rack to put on your guitar. They're a little different. The wiring harness on this is different. The capacitors are different. Like, everything's different in order to try to be as accurate as possible to what a 57 would be, for better or for worse. And so I say that because I think you should just go in with your expectations. If you want a classic guitar, then that's what you want. And I love mine. And if you don't, then that's probably not for you, and you'll probably be disappointed. The other thing about custom shop instruments is they are lighter. That has no weight relief whatsoever.
But
it's a lot lighter.
For the lightest
Yeah.
mahogany, yeah.
And I think they're one-piece specs is
Yeah.
what the deal is. Mine's one-piece back. I think they all are at this point. There's no seam.
Definitely one piece. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And there some of those instruments, they're rare-ish in our store. We get way less custom shops than we get standards or studios or anything, and it's cool seeing the little differences between each, and like where you can tell it was hand done, like the finish and stuff. But they're just fun to play, and if you have the means, it's worth it. They're really high quality, good things. And this one being, like, you could go, like Chris said, Les Paul Access, Bangle Burst, crazy modern that takes the modern figure to a totally different level with the contours and all that stuff. Or you could, if you're a curmudgeon like us, go 57, 58, 59. But pickups in here, to me, is the thing that sets it apart the most in a practical setting of sound and all that.
And there's a lot of different little things that I always kind of think about with these, like the long tenon neck and the hide glue construction on all of it. And we talked about the knobs, and is it worth that much money for the knobs? No, but there's a tactile aspect to that when you're playing the instrument, maybe you hate those knobs, but maybe you love those knobs.
Yeah.
So
let's take a listen.
All right, so there you have it. Hopefully this breakdown helped. I think if you narrow it down, it comes down to this. If you want a Les Paul, there's a Les Paul to be had. Just looking at what Gibson's offerings are, not even looking at the incredible offerings that they do with Epiphone, you have something that to hit most price points. You can get American-made, nitrocellulose finished Gibson Les Paul Studio for around $1,500. That's a huge value. You move up, to the standard, fantastic guitar, rock out on stage. It's more guitar than most people would ever need.
Yeah.
If you need the versatility and you want the classic looks, go modern. So you can get the flame top that's bridging the gap between old and new. And if you, like us, are tied to the past, then Back to the Future, it can come and be yours, not the other guitar that they did from Back to the Future. Those are all sold and really expensive.
Yeah.
But you could own this. I don't have enough money to buy an actual 57 gold top.
Very few do. I will tell you that for me, the Standard's always been my favorite. I think it's still my favorite. Obviously, if I had the money, I'd go for a custom shop. But there's something about the look of this guitar that luckily there's no robotic tuners on it, and it feels right. You know?
Yeah.
I think if I had enough money to do so, buy this guitar and put custom buckers in it, that would be like a perfect guitar for me. But there is something about playing, and there's also the Murphy Lab stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But
But that just starts here.
just like a normal VOS custom shop, the finish just feels so good.
Yeah.
And the guitar itself, I mean, this is probably 2 pounds heavier than that one. You know?
It feels it.
But I do think this is a perfect guitar. However, if you were like me when you were 14 or 15 or whatever, and it was, I need a Les Paul, and you're saving up for like a whole year playing gigs that were really bad.
Like
and
4 people next to a popcorn machine.
It's not even I was bad.
Oh, okay.
I was bad. The gigs weren't great either, but yeah, I was bad. So I did do that, and obviously with help from my parents, I got myself a studio, and it was great. It wasn't until much later that I was like, I'm not playing this much anymore, and then I reflect on the purchase. But a studio's a pretty great guitar, and I think as an entry point into Gibson USA, it's better than it was when I got one. You know?
Yeah, I think with the current management structure they have at Gibson and what they're doing manufacturing-wise, the expansions that they've had with the factory in Nashville, they've done some videos. Anderton's did their really great behind-the-scene video, showed a lot of what's been going on and had some surprising things that I learned. Their guitars have gotten a lot better, and they're fantastic. And there's a reason that things like the Telecaster and the Strat and Les Paul have stood the test of time and continue to have such popularity.
Yeah.
If you are playing music with an electric guitar, they meet a need that very few other guitars can.
Yeah, and I will tell you, we're not here to tell you how to spend your money, but don't buy shares of a guitar.
Don't do that.
Don't own part of a guitar you'll never play. Just put that money towards a Les Paul Standard, and you'll be fine.
There you go. Yeah. If you're interested in any of these guitars, you can purchase them on our website, but you can also check out all the specifications and anything else that we have from Gibson or coming in from Gibson. That website is
alamomusic.com.
Did you forget for a minute? I don't know. It's tough. You can chat with us online. Just click the bottom right-hand side, and there's not a bot. It's actual people. So if you message us at 2 in the morning, we're not here. And then when we see it, we'll go, hey, we want to help you find the guitar to meet your needs, the guitar of your dreams. So make sure that you hit us up. But if you know what it is, now, unlike in the past, you can just buy this 57 custom shop directly at alamomusic.com, which is nice.
That's really nice.
If you're new to the channel, tell them what they should do.
You want to subscribe to the channel, because now that we got a bunch of Gibsons in, there's more Gibson stuff coming. And there's also, around this time of year, fun lists, top lists, prediction videos, talking guitars, no bull. Just witty banter.
Just witty banter.
Yeah, subscribe and like and comment and share.
Put it on Reddit and tell your friends, and go to the Rotary Club and tell them to watch. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.